Moving on to the next. Let us start, driver. Most folks around here call me Bill or Magnuson. My business is called William Magnuson Fancy Carting and Hacking. People used to call me Bill, but my work is as known as William Magnuson's Fancy Carting and Hacking. Alright, Bill, shall we proceed to Fritz? So, Mr. Bill, so far we didn't know the name of the hack driver, but now we have come to know that he is known as Bill. Yes, Lutkins is just as likely to be there as anywhere. He loves to go there, he loves to play cards, so he must be there. Plays a lot of poker. He is good at deceiving people because in the cards you can deceive the people very easily, you can cheat them, so he loved cheating the people. Bill seemed to admire Lutkin's talent for dishonesty. I thought for once, as if he was appreciating Lutkins, his intelligence in cheating or befooling the other. I felt that if he had been a policeman, he would have caught Lutkins respectfully. If this man had been a policeman, so he must have caught him very respectfully for being so intelligent in cheating the others and jailed him with regret. And he must be feeling sorry to jail the man because he was an intelligent one in poker. Bill led me into friends. Have you seen Oliver Lutkins around today? Friend of his looking for him, said Bill cheerily. Fritz looked at me because now Fritz knows that the man known as Bill is himself Lutkin, Oliver Lutkins. So he was surprised to see at me behind Bill. He hesitated and then admitted, yes, he was in here a little while ago. He was just here. Guess he's gone over to Gustav to get a shave. Maybe he has gone to a barber to get his shave. Well, if he comes in, Bill said, if he comes here, tell him I am looking for him. So inform him that Bill was looking for him. Bill wanted to talk to him. We drove to Gustav's barber shop. Again, Bill went in first. Bill himself was making him a fool because he himself was Oliver Lutkins. I am telling you the secret now. Bill went inside first. Always, never takes the narrator with him, and I lingered at the door. I stayed back at the door. He asked not only the Swede but two customers if they had seen Lutkins. Not only he asked the barber but the two customers sitting over there whether they have seen Lutkins. The Swede had not. He said angrily, I haven't seen him and don't care to. I don't want to. He was just showing the anger. But if you find him, you can just collect that $35 he owes me. Asked him to give my money back, $35, because he has to give it to me. One of the customers thought he had seen Lutkin walking down Main Street. The customers, those who were sitting there, one of them said, maybe I have seen him going in the street this side of the hotel. As we climbed back into the hack, now we were to search again for Lutkins. We were back in the hack. Bill concluded that since Lutkins has exhausted his credit at Gus, he had probably gone to Gray's for a shave. Maybe he has to give the money to Gustav, so he must have gone to Gray's shop to get the shave. At Gray's barber shop, we missed Lutkins only 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes before they reached there, he has just left, probably for the pool room. Maybe he has gone to play the pool. At the pool room, it appeared that he had just bought a pack of cigarettes and gone out. So wherever they went, they were not able to find Lutkins anywhere, because how could they when Lutkins was there himself with the narrator? So we pursued him, we followed him, just behind him but never catching him. That's the only reason how they could catch. He with him for an hour till it was past 1 o'clock. I was hungry, but I had so enjoyed Bill's rough country opinions about his neighbors that I scarcely cared where I found Lutkins or not. I was so much interested in the things, in the talks of that man, that driver, that I simply didn't bother where I'd be able to find Lutkins to take him back to the city with him. How about something to eat? I asked him, why not to have something to eat? Because I am feeling hungry now. I suggested, let us go to a restaurant. I will buy you lunch. I'll eat something and I'll buy your lunch also, pay for that also. Well, I ought to go home to the wife. I want to go home to my wife. I don't care much for these restaurants. I will take my homemade food, only four of them, and they are all bad. We are having only four restaurants here in this village, and all serve very bad food. Tell you what we'll do. I tell you what to do. We'll get the wife to pack up a lunch for us. I'll ask my wife to pack the lunch for two. She won't charge you more than half a dollar. You can get a homemade food at a half very low cost. It would cost you more for a greasy meal in the restaurant. In the restaurant you will have to pay more, and you will get up to Wade Hill and enjoy the view while we eat. Then we'll take the packed lunch to the Wade's Hill. We'll go there and enjoy the lunch there as a picnic. I know that Bill's helpfulness to the young fellow from the city was not entirely a matter of brotherly love. I know he wanted some extra money to pay some time, to spend some time to get more money from him. It was not simply the friendship, the brotherly love, and all that. In the end, I paid him for 6 hours, including the lunch hour. Lunch hour was a break, but still I paid him for 6 hours at what was then a very high price. But he was no more dishonest than I. I charged the whole thing to the firm. From the firm, I was to get everything removed from my firm, but it would have been worth paying him myself to have the presence. My cheerful country wisdom was very refreshing to the country boy like myself who was sick of the city. As we sat on the hilltop, now we were sitting on the hilltop looking over the pastures, the grounds, the creek, small water rivers which slipped among the trees. He talked of New Millions. He was telling me something about his village and painted a picture in words. He has given me a pen portrait, you can say, of all the people in it. How many people are living in this village? They tell me each and everything about all those in the words, and I feel as if I have met all them personally. He noticed everything, but no matter how much he might laugh at people, he also understood and forgave their foolishness. He described the minister's wife who sang the loudest in church when he was most in debt. He commented on the boys who came back from the college in fancy clothes. All these things are, you can say, the speciality, the things about the village he is telling. He told about the lawyer whose wife would never succeed in getting him to put on both a collar and a tie on the same day. He made them all live. Everything was so alive. I was feeling as if everything is in front of my eyes. On that day, I came to know New Millions better than I did the city. I have come to know about the village more than I know about my city, and to love it better. In this way, Bill didn't know about college and cities, but he had traveled around a lot of the country and had a lot of jobs. He had done so many work somewhere. From the adventures, he had brought back a philosophy of simplicity and laughter. He strengthened me. His philosophy that wherever he went, he has learned something about from everywhere. So this philosophy, this simplicity really impressed me about Lutkins, about this man Bill. I'm sorry, not Lutkins. It is indirectly actually Lutkins, but now we know it as Bill. So we left that peaceful scene after having our lunch of the meadows and woods and resumed our search of Oliver Lutkins. Again we were in search of the man. We couldn't find him. We wandered here and there. At last, Bill concerned a friend of Lutkins. He asked some friend of Lutkins and made him admit what he guessed. Oliver's gone out to his mother's farm. The friend told that he has gone to his mother's farm 3 miles in the north. We drove out 3 flying planes. We went there to see Oliver's mother where she was at her farm. So we stop over here. In the next video we'll move on to the next page.